Good everyone, today's video. Today we have a review on the US Ki-61 1B. Now, in Bo's recent buying guide, he said do not buy this aircraft. I'd love to know why, personally, because this thing is a cracker, is all I will say. And another individual who believes that this aircraft is a do not buy is Flight Sim, who you may know in the comments as DSKPGSOE, or however the bloody hell you spell it. And I disagree with them both. Now, sure, this aircraft does have sparky guns. It's a rank 2, but it's a pretty good SL maker, and for a rank 2 premium, it's relatively cheap at 700 Golden Eagles, and for 350 that I picked it up on the sale, this thing's a steal. And for the performance that you get, I can't complain. This thing is very good, is all I will say. Now, for 700 Golden Eagles, you obviously get the aircraft, and most importantly, don't forget my golden rule for these captured aircraft. If you are not sure about these premium captured aircraft, go and fly them in their respective tech trees. The Ki-61 1B is the Otsu variant with the four 12.7mm machine guns, so you can fly it in either the Japanese tech tree or the Chinese tech tree. And well, the only differences that are notable is the US one does not gain access to bombs and also has a different skin, which I have to admit this aircraft very well suits. Now, we nicknamed this thing the Silver Samurai, and it earns that name very well. This aircraft was, I believe it was captured on one, I think it was captured on Iwo Jima. I don't actually know. Harry might have to confirm that. It was either Iwo Jima or it was one of the later islands. I'm not, or the earlier islands, I should really say. I'm not actually sure. I'm sure Harry will clarify. But for 700 Golden Eagles, if you don't like the later premiums that you see in the tech tree, like the 109 and the XP50, this thing's a steal. And I have to admit, for the price that you get a very good aircraft. So, let's get into the characteristics of the aircraft and go over the armament as per usual. Going into the engine, we have a Kawasaki HA40 12-cylinder inline with 1030 horsepower on 100% and 1155 on WEP. This is a very good engine, although at high altitudes it does start to wheeze, so just bear that in mind. I felt like it would struggle above 5.5 kilometers, at least in my opinion. This thing started to lose power once it got up there, and it started to lose its punch that it would have. As for armament, this aircraft is armed with quad 12.7mm HO 103 machine guns with 500 rounds in the wing, and we have 400 rounds in the nose. This is obviously for each weapon, coming up to 1800 rounds in total. It is very rare that I have to go back to base to rearm this aircraft because of the ammunition capacity, and the fact that the quad 12.7s hit pretty hard once you get the convergence right. Now, the climb rate of this aircraft is around about 3,000 feet a minute. Don't trust the stat card, that is complete bollocks. And I do think it's got a good climb. And being at 3.3, you could take it with the Agritan, you could take it with something like an F4U Corsair to team along with it. And if you need a bomber, there's a B-34, which you could take along as well. This plane has good access to squadding up, and most importantly, can even work in an up tier. Because I've taken the Otsu variant in the Japanese tech tree to 5.3 and still kicked ass. So that gives you an idea. But of course, not all things are positive. Obviously, in the Zero, you know that that thing has no armor because it was designed not to have any. But the Ki-61, it does have a bit of armor, but it makes no difference, is all I will say. We have two plates of 13mm protecting the pilot. I believe this was added because the Japanese requested it, and then they just. I think some of the pilots requested it, or they actually wanted to start armoring their pilot, like giving their pilots proper protection in some of the army fighters, because they weren't really all that focused about range as much as the Navy was. And subsequently, you do get a bit of armor protection, but realistically, it's not going to help you. But otherwise, for 700 Golden Eagles, I think this aircraft is well worth it. This thing has very good capability in both the turn, fair enough, you won't beat everything in a turn, but it has very good firepower, a great climb rate, good performance at most altitudes, and for 700 Golden Eagles, this thing's worth your buck, is all I will say. Don't don't listen to Bo's buying guides, because I've watched them, and most of them he's incorrect about. And as you'll see in my upcoming premium reviews of you'll see most of them. You've seen most of the premium reviews that Bo has obviously covered. And I heavily disagree with him for the most part about some of them. So, yeah. All I'll say is, if you need a buying guide, don't listen to Bo. Listen to me and Harry. We know what we're talking about. Bo shits on captured birds and Lend-Lease and stuff like that. So, don't listen to him, is all I'll advise. So, let's get into the battle and let's take a look at what the Silver Samurai can do. And I'm sure some people are going to hate the fact that I mentioned Bo and saying that he's full of shit, but sorry, he is. That's all I'm going to say. He is full of shit. Because, well, he's just wrong. And if you need anything about higher tier premiums, I'm going to leave a link to this guy's channel in the description, Sacco Sniper. He does mostly the tonks, but he does have some jets that he's reviewed. If you ever need advice about a top tier jet, go check him out. He is a cracking content creator. He does videos on top tier tanks, he does videos on rank 4 tanks if you really want to buy a rank 4 tank, rank 5, rank 6, and he even does should you buy, as in like, or like should you get sort of thing. A bit like, oh, what was his name? Red Templar used to, but he quit YouTube, War Thunder and all that jazz. So I'm going to jump us ahead, and we're going to take a good look into the climb rate, because as you can tell I've got it on 8 times speed, and the aircraft is climbing at a respectable rate. And being a Ki-61, it's only until you get around the altitude that we're approaching now is where I start to feel the biggest performance drop. But does that make this aircraft bad? No. You just don't have to fight at this altitude if you can avoid it. Now sure, there are better vehicles to talisman in the tech tree, but don't miss out on the Silver Samurai. This is a cracking little aircraft. And, well, she can fight too at the time, let's put it that way. So, we have a MC202 EC, and we have Nikorio in his BF109 E3. And, well, she's going to tangle with both of them, let's put it that way. So I go for the 109 first, since he's the higher target, and I score a critical hit, damaging the engine and the oil systems. And here comes the 202, trying to pull up to get mine shells into my ass, which isn't going to work because I have higher energy than you. He pulls it up, makes himself nice and easy. I swing the plane back around with the usage of the flaps and careful maneuvering, so I don't want to lose too much speed. And again, a good smack into him. Both aircraft are now crippled. The 109 actually has an almost dead engine, but we're going to see him later. And the 202 wishes to continue the fight. This was a mistake on his part. He should have tried to dive away, because I probably wouldn't have followed him in that case, because otherwise I'd have been losing too much altitude. But yeah, he wasn't the smartest about what he could have done. He should have just tried to dive away, but hey ho, not everyone's going to know what they're doing at this sort of tier, and you can use that to your advantage. Kill number 1. So down there you can see a German Yak, which again, Bo shitted on. It's a cracking aircraft in my opinion. I love that thing. I've even taken it to 5.3 and kicked ass, so that again proves how Bo is full of shit. Yeah, it's a bit expensive, but that don't mean you shouldn't buy it, because it's a German Yak, and who doesn't love German Yaks, or Yaks in general. Yes, they can be a bit hard to fly, and their guns are a bit questionable, but the German Yak is great. Well, not this one, because he's about to have a bit of a marshmallow season. That's going to be kill number 2. I don't get many kills in this battle, but to be honest, this is the best one I could get out of the Silver Samurai. I just wasn't getting like amazing results. I was getting 2 kills, maybe 3 like this battle. And I simply decided we'll just use this one. One of the many 3 kill battles that I had. Because at the end of the day, not all reviews are going to be based off ace and stuff like that. I'd like to try and mix it up a bit if I can. But the Silver Samurai for 700G isn't mentioned. This thing is a great aircraft. But as previously mentioned though, make sure that you use, well, you try them out in their respective tech tree. As I mentioned, this aircraft can be flown in the Japanese and the Chinese tech tree. Obviously, this aircraft does not have the Otsu designation. So, well, I mean, technically it does. Because I think the B designation is what Otsu would be, pun intended. It's just, it's named differently, but that's the best way to know. And here we have Hermann the German, which is one of the few planes Bo didn't shit on that I've reviewed. Sorry Hermann, can't let you get around here, mate. So, I'm sorry Hermann, I'll fly out probably at some point, just to redeem myself. But that's pretty much it. The Nicoya you may remember from earlier, he is currently sat on that airfield just to the bottom right. He is going to get taken out by the Helldiver very shortly. But for 700 Golden Eagles, I love this thing. It's a cracking little aircraft. I haven't had an ace in it yet, but I'd love to get one at some point. I've still got the Mark of Distinction to finish on it, so that will likely be something that I do. But if you don't want to spend too much money on the US tech tree and you just want a premium to get you started and get you into rank 3 and then you'll play the tree from there, I think you should consider this plane. It's a very good one. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the US Ki-61 1B, also known as the Silver Samurai, and I will catch you all on the next one.